So, you're thinking about getting a job in West Bengal's school system. Well, you're in the right place, because you absolutely need to know about the brand new hiring rules. In this explainer, we're going to break down the official government guidelines step by step and give you a really clear roadmap to get started. Okay, it all starts with this. This is the official government gazette that lays out the entire updated process. And when I say everything, I mean it. From the moment you apply to the day you get an appointment letter, every single detail for hiring librarians, clerks, and Group D staff. It's all in this document. We've done the digging so you don't have to.
So, with that in mind, if you're seriously thinking of throwing your hat in the ring, let's walk through exactly what you need to know. We'll take it step by step.
Right. First things first. What's this all about anyway? Well, basically, these new rules are the government's way of making the whole hiring process official and uniform. We're talking about 3 key non-teaching jobs here: librarian, clerk, and Group D staff. You know, roles like peons and night guards. And it's all going to be handled by one body, the Central School Service Commission.
Okay, so the very first question you have to ask yourself, the big one, is, are you eligible? This is the absolute first hurdle. Let's break down exactly what you'll need.
All right, let's look at the breakdown. For the librarian post, you're going to need a bachelor's degree plus a degree in library science, and the age window is 20 to 40 years. Now, for a clerk position, the bar is passing your school final, or madhyamik, so your Class 10 exams, and the age is 18 to 40. And finally, for Group D staff, it's passing Class 8, with that same 18 to 40 age range. Oh, and keep in mind, there are age relaxations if you fall into one of the reserved categories.
Now listen up, because this is a really critical point that a lot of people might miss. It's all about your language skills. You absolutely must have studied the language that the school uses for instruction. For librarians and clerks, that means having studied it at the secondary level or higher. For Group D staff, you need to have studied that language up to Class 8. The good news is it can be your first, second, or even third language, but the key is it has to be on your academic record.
So, you've checked the boxes and you're eligible. Fantastic! That's the first big step done. Now let's look at the actual path to selection. You know, how you get from sending in that application to getting that final offer letter. Think of your recruitment journey like a funnel with these 5 key steps. It all kicks off with your online application. Then comes the big one, the written exam. Your performance there helps create a preliminary merit list. And from that list, only the top candidates get called for the interview stage. And finally, that interview determines who makes it onto the final panel and waiting list. Simple as that. Okay, that first major hurdle we mentioned, it's the written exam. It's a multiple-choice test on one of those OMR sheets, you know, where you fill in the bubbles. But here's a really cool detail that shows how transparent the process is. You actually get to keep a duplicate copy of your answer sheet. No mystery there.
So, after you've taken that written test, the commission crunches the numbers to get what they call your preliminary merit score. And this is super important. It's not just your test result. It's actually a combination of your written exam marks, points for your academic background, and even points if you have relevant work experience. This final score is absolutely vital because it's the thing that decides whether or not you get that call for an interview. And that brings us to the interview stage. But listen, this is where it gets really competitive. The rules are very clear. They're only going to call a limited number of people. Typically, it's about twice the number of actual job openings. So that preliminary merit score we just talked about, it needs to be high enough to get you past that cutoff and into the interview room.
So, how do they actually calculate your final score? This is where it gets interesting, because the weight they give to the written test, your academics, and the interview is different for each job. Let's break down the numbers.
All right, first up, the librarian post. Just look at this breakdown. Out of 100 total marks, the written exam accounts for a massive 75 points. The takeaway here couldn't be clearer. Your success pretty much hinges on how well you do in that one test. It's huge.
Now for the clerk position, the balance shifts quite a bit. The written exam is still the biggest piece of the pie at 60 marks, but check this out. The interview stage is worth 25 marks. And that's not just a chat. It includes a really crucial computer typing and proficiency test. This tells you they're seriously looking at your practical, hands-on skills. And for Group D staff, the whole thing is scored out of 50.
So it's a more streamlined process. But once again, the written exam is king. It accounts for 40 out of those 50 marks. Your experience and the oral interview each get you 5 marks. So again, that exam is where you really need to shine.
Okay, imagine this. You've aced the test. You've nailed the interview. You're on the home stretch. The final hurdle is something called counseling. This is where you get matched up with a specific school, and that leads directly to your official appointment letter. You're so close.
Now, to really understand your result, you have to know about the 2 lists they publish. First, there's the panel. Think of this as the main list. These are the people recommended for immediate appointment. Then there's the waiting list. This is like a reserve list. If someone from the main panel decides not to join for whatever reason, their spot goes to the next person on the waiting list. So yeah, even if you're not on that main list at first, all hope is not lost.
And here's another critical detail you cannot forget. These lists, they have an expiry date. There's a ticking clock. Both the panel and the waiting list are usually only valid for 1 year, starting from the date of that first counseling session. Now, the government can extend it, but I wouldn't count on it. That 1-year window is what you need to focus on.
Finally, I want to share a vital rule, and this is a direct quote from the Gazette. It says that once you either choose a specific job vacancy or you refuse to choose one when it's your turn, you give up your right to be part of any more counseling. So what does that mean in simple terms? It means your decision at that counseling table is absolutely 100% final. There are no do-overs, no second chances.
And there you have it. That's a complete top-to-bottom breakdown of the new recruitment rules, from checking if you're eligible all the way to that final appointment letter. The entire process has been laid out for you. The path is clear. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to start your journey?